Hi, my name is John Biddle.
Hi, my name is Sam Biddle.
And welcome to our podcast.
I hate this book.
Where I read my book, The Harvester.
To me.
Who hates it?
Yeah.
And it's the last chapter.
Yay! Hold on. Yay!
Yay! We made it through.
Yeah.
And you're still here. You're not psychologically damaged.
No.
And we start Hypnos next week.
Can we not have a holiday?
No.
A little break?
No.
It's Easter next week.
We had it over Christmas.
We did actually have a little bit of a break. I didn't miss it.
4 weeks break.
Was it only 4 weeks?
Yeah. So we need to crack straight on because people are quite eager to get to Hypnos.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. Well, about 3.
These people?
About 3 people are quite eager to get on with the Hypnos.
I'm eager to get to the end of this book. Not that it's been a bad book at all. In fact, the journey itself has been fine. Obviously, the odd chapters, but I want to, you've got this crescendo that we're getting to, that I want to sort of reach that.
Have we not reached it? This is kind of like the epilogue.
Oh, we're back to the epilogue again. Prologue, epilogue.
Yeah, we're kind of at the end. This is literally the last chapter. This is the
closure. I thought there was another chapter.
There is. I've not written it.
You said you were going to write it.
I say a lot of things.
If you watch last week's episode or listen to last week's episode, you will no doubt have heard John promise to write the missing 40th
I was
chapter.
hoping to write it on Nights. That was on Nights last week. And then it was impossible, basically, to do anything.
Your intention was there. You got your iPad out a few times.
I did get it out a few times, but, the thing is that when you're...
It's just like this silver... I'm not going to put it out.
There's no need for you to put it out.
But no, but it's...
Or arrange it. Because if you pull that out, it's game over. It's,
You've got this... What is it? Cruella de Vil.
I am
a
50-year-old man, and considering the amount of grey hair I've got, I'm actually not doing too bad.
But it's only in one place.
Here, just here. Like
you're going to end up looking like who's that baker guy?
Paul Norman.
Paul.
Oh no, he's a colleague of mine.
Paul Hollywood.
Paul Hollywood.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I would never aspire to look like him.
I would.
Would you?
Aspire you to look like him?
No,
Why not?
No, because
he's like fit and got these piercing blue eyes and smiles.
He's not my cup of tea, I'm afraid.
Well, that's lucky, but he's mine.
Well,
Paul Hollywood, if you're ever listening to this podcast, do give me a little tinkle-inkle.
I think the only reason why you like Paul Hollywood is he's good with dough.
Yeah, there's that.
He could make a nice tiger loaf.
Oof, don't.
Followed by a nice iced bun.
No, a friend of mine is making hot cross buns. Who knew it takes months?
Really?
Yeah, with sourdough, you've got to make the dough. I don't know. It has to grow for weeks.
But you don't generally buy sourdough hot cross buns, do you?
I don't know, but I want to try them now.
I think a sourdough hot cross bun's unusual in the grand scheme of things.
Tracy, I want to try one of your sourdough hot cross buns.
Where is she?
She is.
Where is she?
She is in the middle of the country-ish.
Leicester.
No, I don't think she's that far.
What's her accent?
Um.
Is she the first responder?
No, she's the one that has Jigsaw. Health and safety. She came on our live.
Yeah. If she's Leicester way, I'm sure she is.
Right, you'd know. I don't know. So, but I'm sure if she posted it, it'd be fine.
Well, sourdough lasts ages, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing. But who knew? Paul Hollywood, tell us. Just give me a little tinkle-inkle. I'll listen. to you telling me all about sourdough hot cross buns.
Mm.
I'll taste your hot cross buns anytime. I still love you.
I'm not feeling threatened.
Why not?
Well, why should I?
Well, if he did ring me, what would you say then?
It's not him. It's not you I'd have the issue with.
Huh?
Well, it's not you I'd have the issue with. It's with him, wouldn't it?
I don't understand.
Well, what's your intention here? To make me jealous?
No.
Well, so then I'm not bothered.
Now it's my intention to make you jealous.
But if your intention is to make me jealous, then he's the one that's going to come off worse. Isn't he?
Okay. I don't understand. Well, I truly now don't understand.
You really don't need to understand the thinking of the man's mind.
But surely, if I was the one that was inviting somebody to call, I'm not inviting any other man to call, just Paul Hollywood. If I was inviting anyone to call me, surely you should be angry at me.
But what's your intention? If you genuinely want Paul Hollywood to make you a loaf of
Yes,
bread,
I do.
then that's entirely fine, and I'll enjoy that process at all. But if your intention was to have an affair with Paul Hollywood, then I'd have a problem.
No, sadly, it's not, because I love you.
I know, and I'm secure in that.
But it's nice to have a little flanter.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Flirty banter. I wouldn't mind a little flirty banter.
Is that what it's called, flanter?
Flanter. I know, I heard that on... What was The Circle? Not that we only watched one episode of The Circle, we're now pros. But yeah, The Circle is the next Big Brother.
Is it, though?
I have no idea. We're not watching it.
Well,
so
it didn't grip me.
Well, it did, but then it didn't. Then you went to sleep. And it was poof, out of your head. One thing that's gripping me at the moment is The Doghouse. I just, I feel like I need to be in this emotional turmoil every time I watch it.
Yes.
I love it.
It's
heartbreaking.
Maybe you should work for a kennel or something.
I'm not looking for a job.
I know you're not, but you don't. It's not a job. It's volunteering.
Yeah, but why would I do that?
Because you don't work with these.
I don't even have time to meditate.
Well, you barely have enough time for your own dogs. Don't you?
What does that mean?
Because you're a busy lady.
I have loads of time for my dogs. I stop all the time for my dogs. Fortunately. That's why I don't have any time to meditate. He's curled at my feet.
Bella's out in the garden, sunning herself.
You told your dog off because your dog was naughty. My dog was not. Given half a chance, my dog would have been equally as naughty, but she's too petrified of Bella to even go. He's too petrified of Bella to go in there.
No, the thing is about Bertie, he would have emptied that bin completely.
No, he would have done this little dance.
Just take everything out slowly.
Yeah, and then hidden it, and then he'd have gone back and sorted that out later. Oh my gosh. So he does that with bulbs.
Bella just took the sausage wrappers out.
Oof.
To lick the inside of the wrapper.
She did that with the raw food wrapper. We have got raw food. Sadly, my mum lost her dog this week, which was desperately sad. And we loved Bonnie. She was like the cutest little Westie you could ever meet. And she passed, which was a little bit of a shock. So Mum gave us the raw food that we've been giving the dogs at lunchtime in the Kong. I've just been stuffing their Kong. They're like, oh my God, we're in heaven. But I put them...
Have they enjoyed it then?
They've loved it. I've not loved it. Stuffing this raw food in... Yeah, you're doing it today. But I put the wrapper in the bin and I hadn't closed the bin properly. And the next thing I knew, the wrapper was in the kitchen.
In the front room.
In the front room. Lovely, Bella. It was Bella because he was with me.
No.
She was like, I didn't get enough of this. I'm going to go back and get some more. I'll help myself.
The juice from the inside of the wrapper.
God, don't we love dogs?
I know. They are disgusting creatures. But then I've known some humans to be worse than dogs.
But you?
Not me, no. I think I am a pretty disgusting human being.
Oh, I don't.
No, I can't.
On yourself. I don't think so. You would never eat anything food related that was even remotely like.
I'd eat green ham out the fridge.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that.
I'd just mix it with a bit of.
Stop now! Stop!
Chipotle
stop,
or something.
I can't, because otherwise now I won't eat ham. I won't eat anything that's mouldy. I won't eat anything that's even remotely going off. But I will eat weird and wonderful foods. I'll eat liver. I'll eat, I won't eat brain.
That's not weird or wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting.
But I won't eat anything that's gone off.
No, you wouldn't be able to cope with. I think without exception, I've never been in a theatre unit where the fridge is like a pathology fridge.
No. No.
We're all healthcare professionals, and there's more bacteria growing in our fridges than.
I can't do it, because it's just, I will not eat now for the rest of the day, because that's all I'll think about. Do you remember when mad cow disease was a thing? Because that was a big thing. That was the pandemic of today back then. It was everywhere. It was like we all reacted to mad cow.
I think the media did a really good job in saying that we're all going to be mad in a year's time.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. It was the thing. I was pregnant with Jordan at the time, so obviously hormonal. My mental state was slightly impaired, and I was just like such a clean freak because of it. I was vegetarian. I just couldn't even touch meat. I mean, I can, if it's chicken, I'll have to hold it with a fork. I can't even, I'll touch beef, but I won't touch chicken. I'm a lot better than I was, but then I was vegetarian for 9 years.
You'd eat raw food mainly, like raw vegetables and stuff.
But that was just all bacteria and those little microbes on the TV, or even the dogs were bacteria ridden.
I think it was that trip to Blandford kebab shop.
What?
Because we used to have to drive to Blandford, which is like 60, which is our nearest sort of takeaway place was Blandford, where we were living in rural Dorset. Our nearest place was to go to the kebab shop in Blandford, which is a 16-mile drive, which is nuts for takeaway. Really,
I know, but it was the only takeaway there was.
Yeah, but this elephant's foot that he was chopping up, it just looked hideous, and you just said, I'm not eating it, I can't eat it, and you didn't eat meat for years after that.
Yeah. Although I would kill a piece of beef, like I'd eat that raw.
I don't get that.
No, I don't either.
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox. But chicken, you can keep chicken, you can keep pork. Lamb, I would have it, certain cuts of lamb, and in a salad, or with a salad, or with hummus. But, yeah, beef.
I think I could be a vegetarian.
Well, a pescatarian, because, is it pescatarian?
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian, because we eat a lot of fish.
We do eat, we probably eat fish 3 times a week.
Yeah, we eat an awful lot of fish.
That's not a bad thing.
As you say. Keeps telling me it's not a bad thing. I mean, we could be a vegetarian. I could be vegetarian, mainly because of the idea of meat. Is there such a thing as being a vegetarian but only eating beef? Because I don't even want pork.
Well, that's a choice, isn't it? So yeah, you can.
I had a friend who was actually allergic to beef. She'd get migraines if she ate beef.
How?
I didn't ask her that. She just wouldn't have beef. Any beef. She just wouldn't have it.
I think that's more psychosomatic.
You can't question people's health.
As a medical professional, I'm saying it's psychosomatic. I can't see how. Beef.
When people are allergic to air.
Impossible.
But they are.
That is utterly impossible.
I've seen it.
You guys bullshit. How can you be allergic to air? It's like saying we get patients in and saying, I'm allergic to saline. Right? Well, your entire constitution is 0.9% saline, salty water. So it's not possible. Or the same people who say, I'm allergic to adrenaline. No, you're not. You
But
can't
then
be
they
allergic.
must get a reaction to something.
So what's the reaction to adrenaline? Fast heartbeat and a bit of a headache. Well, that's a side effect of it because it increases your heart rate and it dumps
Well, why
your blood
can't
pressure.
you be allergic to adrenaline then?
Because you naturally produce adrenaline.
I know. I love it. It's like the best high ever.
So you can't be allergic to it.
I know. I understand that.
In the same way you can't be allergic to air because 21% of air is oxygen. I
think people get confused between allergic and intolerant.
You can't even be intolerant to that gas.
No, but people get I am intolerant to stupid people
who are allergic to air.
Yeah, I'm actually not. I don't think I'm not allergic or intolerant to anything.
Gluten. Such a short memory. If you eat any gluten, your eyes are going around like a fruit machine.
Okay, gluten and dairy.
Tofu.
That's dislike.
I think it's
not tofu. Soya.
Soya.
Soya. I cannot have.
You can't. Like even smelling it sets you off.
And yeah, so I will have. If I have soya milk, I know that Beth bought some dairy-free ice cream, which was like, it was so nice.
It was lovely.
Because at the time I was limited on dairy, I couldn't eat dairy. It was so yummy. Oh my gosh! The next day, and I just couldn't understand. Normally, dairy would do that, or gluten. I just couldn't understand it. And I got the packet of ice cream out of the bin, and it was literally soya. I think that was the nail in the coffin. I knew then it was always. I remember going to Costa's once, and I used to have a latte with soya milk, and I didn't even get halfway through the soya, through the cup, and I was meeting you in Salisbury, wasn't I? I was in the toilet. I had to go in the disabled. No, in Costa's.
Oh yes, I remember.
I had to go into the disabled toilet and just lock myself in there, and just when you're just rocking, going, oh my god, be quick, but.
And the door to the disabled toilet is literally in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
There's no corridor, no sort of like.
I couldn't have gone anywhere else. That was it. So no soya. I mean, if you could sneak soya into my food, and that would be me.
You would know. But soya is probably one of the worst foods.
Well, we're not built for
intolerances because it's so over farmed.
But we're not
messed about with.
We're not meant to process it. We're not designed to process it. It's not real food.
It's not. How is it grown? Is it grown like rice or something?
Well, when we were researching paleo, and we were paleo for a long time, one of the things that they said was about eating grain. And when you eat grain is designed to reproduce, and the only thing it needs to do is reproduce. Reseed and reproduce. But when you ingest it, it releases a toxin inside you because it needs to get out as quick as possible so that it can go and reseed and reproduce. So when you ingest grain of any kind, your body expels it because it releases this toxin inside you. Very interesting. And we were paleo for a long, long time. It was the healthiest I've ever been. The healthiest.
Well,
I'd go back to being paleo in a heartbeat. If I lived on my own, I would.
Well, if you call Paul Hollywood, you might end up living on your own.
But I wouldn't be paleo because he's a bread maker.
I know.
That would be horrible.
How unfortunate would that be?
Yeah.
Huh?
If I had the choice between bread and Paul Hollywood and paleo, I'd go paleo. Or keto or whatever they call it now, but I would reduce sugar, wheat, gluten. That's what I reduce.
Well, we call it the renal failure diet, and that's only
it's
because
not, is
it's
it?
only because a lot of people they don't do their research when they say they're going to become paleo or caveman or whatever, cave person. They don't do their research, and so all they do eat is just protein. and that's where people run into problems because you end up wrecking your kidneys if your only substance you're ingesting is
protein
and a little bit of carbs.
No, and there's loads of natural carbs, and to be fair though, we probably eat the majority of our food is paleo based because we have so much fish.
Yeah, we do eat a lot of fish.
We eat potato, so we could easily substitute that for sweet potato, which you hate. But that's it, potato.
But if you're a paleo purist, you can't even have sweet potato. But anyway, let's get off this. It's
is it making you anxious?
No. What is making me anxious is that our timings, because when I edit this and it's an hour and a half of just, I don't think the people that dial into the I Hate This podcast, I Hate This Book podcast, dial in to listen to us talking for 45 minutes.
No, you're absolutely right. Let's crack on.
So,
plus I've got a meeting at 12.
Have you?
I do.
Who are you with?
That lady.
What, Paul Hollywood? Pauline Hollywood at 12 o'clock Zoom call. Alright, should we get on with it? Right, so this is the last. Where are we?
The last one. Woohoo! End of the book!
There we go. It's the chapter 39. I've not done 40. We have established that, haven't we? I will do 40.
As a bonus.
Yeah. And I'll send it out to you. But anyway, so we're going to get on with the last chapter. So we've found Lucy. Brock is on the run. Ing's been dealt with. We think he's been dealt with. So that whole crime syndicate has been dissolved because Alex is like badass, amazing police officer. Yeah. So this is chapter 39 of The Harvester. The drive to South Africa was no. I'm thinking about Hypnos. Yeah.
Are you really?
How did I get South Africa from Southampton?
You know what? I messaged somebody in South Africa this morning.
Have you? South African. I'm working on my accent.
For Hypnos?
For Hypnos, yeah.
Is there a lot of South African accents?
Yeah, there's a dude in it called Dajong, who's a fucking psychopath. Who's South African.
What's he say?
Well, he's just vile. Horrible piece of work. And he has no kind of moral compass, and he's got no filter whatsoever. And his sidekick is a black Zulu called, I've forgotten what his name is now. But he's horribly racist towards him.
Oh my god, is that allowed?
Well, of course it is. It doesn't
reflect on you.
It doesn't reflect on me. It doesn't reflect on South Africans. However, a South African has read it, and they said that I've got this guy down to an absolute T.
Nice.
Because he says I can just picture him now.
That's good.
So we'll introduce Dajong or Zhongi. You'll see him next week because he's in the first chapter. All right. So the drive to Southampton was sullen. Renton's funeral 7 days later had been an emotion for the whole team. It makes it even more upsetting when you see the man behind the job: wife, children, mother, father, friends. Bewildered and confused to how someone can die so young. Police officers are always in the line of fire, yet they play down their jobs to protect the people that love them. That's what Alex felt anyhow. The traffic was light, the sun low and strong in the fall light. The lush green of the trees turning vivid shades of orange and yellows. Both Alex and Ricky had driven in almost total silence. The radio, oblivious, filled the silence. Alex was twirling her hair wistfully, watching the horizon for the changes. Urban to rural, rural to urban. England in the summer and the fall just can't be beaten, she thought. The music was evoking memories of summer days lying in the grass, a world away from the trauma of adult life. The best thing about being a child, not having to pay bills, Alex thought. Responsibility sucks. The hospital in Southampton, a behemoth of the building, drab, miserable and utterly soul-destroying. Because I've worked there. Yet miracles are performed every day in the four walls that contain the most amazing people, the The building wasn't important, but the people, abused by the state, went about their jobs with dedications and brilliance. They made their way to the 4th floor of cardiac intensive care.
Why is she in hospital? Oh, because of Lucy.
They made their way to the 4th floor, cardiac intensive care. Armed police were flanking the doorway. Alex flashed a warrant card. Thanks, Sergeant. You guys can sign in, please. Alex signed both Ricky and herself in. The gunner opened the door. Harvey sat in the chair watching something on a tablet. He clocked Alex. He hadn't seen her since meeting her in the car park. He placed the tablet on the table next to him and jumped up, and he walked over to Alex. Harvey, how are you? He shrugged and hugged her. He looked at Ricky. This is my partner, Ricky. He broke the embrace, and Ricky offered his hand. Harvey took it and shook it violently, almost pumping Ricky into orbit. He's my actual partner. He's my actual partner. Renton wasn't. Yeah, I heard that it was his funeral today.
Why would you say that?
Well, because she met Alex with Renton. She's not met Ricky. He's always been in the back office. Yeah, I heard that it was his funeral today. How did it go? Trailing off at the end of the sentence, knowing that asking how it went with regards to a funeral was a bit stupid. It went fine, emotional, but it went ahead okay. Alex nodded to the bed Lucy was in. How is she? She's comfortable. They only wake her for 1 hour a day. They're doing their best. They're doing the best they can. We laugh when she's awake. Can't shut her up, really. Alex smiled and touched his arm. He felt it, placed his own hand on top and squeezed. I want to thank you, Alex. Sergeant Cuthbert filled me in on what had happened. You must have been right through it for Lucy. I'll remember you for the rest of my life. Tears filled his eyes. That's cool, Harvey. She's worth it.
Harvey's nice now.
I know, right? So you hated him at the beginning?
I did. He was a bit of a dick.
Alex walked to her bed, wires coming from Lucy's body, the ECMO machine wearing dark blood to the unit with bright oxygen-rich blood back to her. She looked cleaner, more angelic. The soft glow of the bulb above her head gave her a peaceful appearance.
So did they sew her back up again?
Oh, yeah. They would have done.
So she would literally live off ECMO unless she has transplants.
We'll get to that. The soft glow of the bulb above her head gave her a peaceful appearance. Apart from the wires and tubes coming from her body, you wouldn't think that there was anything wrong with her, though Alex had seen her at her worst, an image that will stay with her always. There's a guy here, some suit. He was asking after you, if you'd arrived or been to visit. Who was that? Alex asked. Don't know, still around, I think. Liz came into the room. Remember the anaesthetist? Liz came into the room, deep in conversation with an ODP looking after her. She sensed different people in the room, looked up and shut the clipboard and handed it to her ODP. Well, bugger me, Alex. Alex, right? She walked over and shook Alex's hand. You look a bit better than when I last saw you, Liz said. Hi, Liz, this is Ricky. I'm her Tonto, Ricky said, with a smile, his teeth the brightest thing in the room. Who's your dentist? Liz asked.
Oh my God,
Ricky looked
how did you
perplexed.
think of that?
Because this anaesthetist is based on a true character, and she would say that. She would absolutely say that. Liz said. Both women laughed. How is she? Alex asked. Well, considering she has no vital organs, she's doing okay. The board are still struggling with the ethics about sticking her on a registry for new organs. Why? Said Ricky. What he said, Alex chimed up. Well, the chances of her surviving a transplant are very limited. Until the board can make their decision, we can't even put her on the registry. That sucks. The very least Hemomatch can do is save her, Alex said. To be fair, she's lucky to be alive. You have to thank Brock for that. Our surgeons have looked her over and his work is perfection. One or two know him.
Do you say that then? Like, do you, when you, like, you know, when with artists, you look at art and you go, oh my God, their art is perfection. Their art is. Do you say that about the art of surgery?
Yeah, you comment on.
But are there? Because surely.
Yeah, surgeons are. They see themselves as creative geniuses.
Not narcissistic at all.
I used to work with a vascular surgeon that thought the inner workings of the body was a work of art.
Yeah, well, it is.
And it has all the drama of art and everything, and you know, he considered himself to be the best surgeon in the world. Yeah, he's slightly Del Brock. But I think you can tell, you can appreciate surgeons, or you can appreciate surgical procedure when you go back in and you see what a surgeon has done inside. You can tell. I had this. I might get into trouble for saying this, but I had one patient where she had come in for a breast revision, and this is from one end of the scale of perfection to the other end of complete incompetence. And she'd had a breast augmentation done in London, not the real place because I'm not going to say. And so she had a 350cc breast implant put in her right breast. And what we were revising was the left breast, because when we actually opened it, because it looked like a cottage loaf. So you had her boob here, which was perfect, and you had this one here, which was like that, and then it had a bobbly bit on top, so it looked like a cottage loaf.
That had like a plastic elastic band around it or something.
No, what the surgeon had done, because it was 350 cc's.
Yeah.
He only had 250 and 100 cc breast implant. So we had
one on top of the
other.
So
he put one on top of the other and sewed it up. So what had happened is the skin had atrophied around this smaller implant, and it basically gave almost like it'd been shrink wrapped. So it just completely shrink wrapped around the boob, and it looked absolutely hideous.
Why would he do that?
And it would have taken about 2 years for it to have.
That's dangerous.
Very.
The fact that would he have got struck off for that?
I don't know how that was dealt with.
Jesus. That makes you wonder what's going, I mean, I'm lucky.
Like, if I was involved in that surgery, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
But
then if it was private surgery.
Even in the private sector.
Yeah, but if it was at somebody's own clinic, then, everybody that works for him would be under his,
Yeah, well, that's historically what used to happen, but not so much these days. There's too many checks in place now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was about 5-6 years ago. Incredible.
Crazy.
But I had another patient when I was working in Guildford, not the real place, where she was actually blue lighted off the ambulance with sepsis.
Right.
She ended up on an operating table, and she'd flown to New York to have a boob job. And she'd actually had it done under local anaesthetic in his office.
Oh my god!
She said I was on like the 50th floor of this skyscraper. I literally walked in. She had a nurse with him. He put local in. It was so painful. He slotted these boob. He literally tunnelled all the way in.
What?
Pushed him in. Sewed her up. Put her in another room where she sat, and then She sat and waited, and then she caught the plane back to the UK the next day. And she became septic across the Atlantic.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Local.
Under local anaesthetic, yeah.
That's just greed. That's
all
all about greed and money.
Greed, yeah.
That makes me very angry.
Mm.
Okay.
But anyway, but going back to what you're saying, yeah, surgeons, a lot of good surgeons see their prowess as an art form, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. You aspire.
That's it. If it weren't for Brock, she wouldn't be here in the first place, Liz. So hold on a minute. So, to be fair, she's lucky to be alive. You have to thank Brock for that. Our surgeons have looked her over, and his work is perfection. 1 or 2 know him. If it weren't for Brock, she wouldn't be here in the first place, Liz, Alex said. Touché, Liz responded, leaning and adjusting the monitor. They didn't notice a man had entered the room and was standing back from the bed in the shadows of the room. Liz turned. Oh, hello again. Alex turned. She didn't.
Well, there's a lot of people in that room.
Oh, it's ICU. It's busy. There's probably a lot of people in there.
But who's coming in? I couldn't just go into ICU.
No, you couldn't.
Well, we've got...
But once you're in the unit, aren't you? Alex turned. He didn't have to speak. His appearance oozed spook. Oh. Simon Broadstone came into the only light available. Wearing a snappy charcoal-tailored suit, regimental tie and wristwatch the size of a satellite. The signet ring on the small finger was either Masonic or a boarding school house, probably Eton. Dr. Cranshaw, nodding curtly. Sergeant Brown, how do you do? He said, his voice powerful, deep and sombre. A voice you would instantly trust and a voice you would never forget. Mr. Broadstone, Alex said. Weirdly, she felt sheepish and coy. She blushed. Damn, he was good-looking as well.
It's funny, isn't it? The confident women that, you know, I'm reasonably confident, and you know, I deal with
Reasonably?
women. I'm a confident woman, and I deal with women all the time. But if there's a good-looking man, yeah, you do. Women do that.
Well, you do it every time I come home. Huh? Every time I walk in, you become quivering wreck.
He looked at me. But no, it's funny. I hate it. I hate the fact that happens. Because all of a sudden you sort of go, do you do it with women?
I don't think I make them swoon, no.
No, do you do it the other way around when a good-looking woman looks at you and you go, oh.
I think it's the other way around for a man. I think you become empowered.
Right.
You want to engage in an attractive woman. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the other way. It's a polar opposite, I think. But I used to know an artist called Richard Barrett, who I loved immensely, and I was gutted when he retired. But he knew 5 languages. He could he'd sailed around the world.
Impressive.
On his own. You know, he'd walked up Everest. You know, he'd done all these things, and he was such an attractive man. And he'd walk down the corridor, and literally women would fall like ironing boards behind him. And I'm like, "Do you ever get bored of that?" And he says, "I'm used to it."
Was he a bit of a big head?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He never used it to his advantage or anything like that. But just people would just gravitate to him because he's that personality,
that magnetism.
And he's retired, and he went to go and study English at Oxford as a 65-year-old man. Oh. And he said it's amazing. It's like throwing an old dog a puppy. He says it's brilliant.
I think we do get like that, you know, regardless of how confident you are, we do feel, and it is irritating because there is no attraction there. It doesn't mean that there's an attraction there, but if you see a man, instantly you know a man's interested. You instantly know that. You see the man and you see them interested, you get a reaction, which is, for me, embarrassment. I feel embarrassed by it, and then I get fucking annoyed. And then I ignore. I'm like, no, there's a thing up. It's funny, isn't it? And I wish and it's all of this is done within a second.
Nanoseconds.
And it's so annoying because if I just processed it slowly, I could have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, that's it.
But then it's all gone.
You sabotaged it yourself.
Yeah, it's over.
Anyway, Ricky leaned in. Told you I hated him, Alex said.
Why?
He said. Alex smiled. Well, because he's like...
good looking.
Yeah, he's also like...
Suave
and he was like a soldier, and he's like, you know, special forces. Please call me Simon.
Oh, like that special forces guy on SAS.
Fuck off. What, Anthony Middleton?
Oh, yes, okay. So if I had the choice between Paul Hollywood and Anthony Middleton, I would go for Anthony Middleton. But I wouldn't necessarily want a conversation with him. Although, I don't know, he could interrogate me. I'm happy with that.
As long as you're sitting down, right? Or lying down. He's like 4'2".
Is he?
Tiny.
Oh, okay, forget that. No,
you'd have to wear Converses. You can wear heels when you take you out.
No,
right, and he's only going to take you to a spud you like. Let's face it, he's ex-Navy.
I like potatoes.
that's actually a winner for me. If I go to a spud you like.
Yeah, I don't mind a potato.
Anyway, please call me Simon, he said, his voice reverberating around right through Alex. Liz leaned in. Feel my sweater, she said. Alex looked at Liz. Why? Boyfriend material, you know what I mean, girl. Winking. Alex smirked. Enough. Alex walked towards him. Simon, how'd you do? Can we chat? He said, shaking her hand. Of course. He led her out of the room and into the corridor. Have you located Brock? Got straight out of the blocks. That's why I like you, Simon said. You've probably read my file. I don't mince. You're right. I'm aware that you don't mince your words, he said, leaning against the window. I have located him. Unfortunately, he's in the wind. You let him get away first, you mean? She said. He ignored the jibe. The villa was empty. He was there all right, his prints are everywhere.
How do you know where to go precisely? Alex asked, looking out of the window. There was a guy in a wheelchair trying to get up the ramp, while people just walked past. Seemed odd at the hospital to see it, she thought. We brought Ing in.
Wait. There's a guy in a wheelchair trying to get up a ramp.
She's looked out the window and she's seeing this happening. This is starting to unfold in front of her. This guy's in a wheelchair trying to get up a ramp and people are just ignoring him. It's just weird at a hospital. You'd think somebody would help him up. Push him up the ramp or something.
Yeah, but my question is if I was looking at this guy and he was trying to get up a ramp in a wheelchair...
She's 4 stories up.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm now thinking about the wider picture. Would the guy want me to go, hey, do you want me to push you up this ramp?
I would offer.
So it's a bit like, do you offer help and make them feel like they aren't able to do it themselves, or do you offer help because they need some help?
I think it's a judgment. If somebody is in a hospital wheelchair with their leg in plaster,
oh, all right, yeah,
you would help them.
Of course,
you would ask to help.
Yes.
But if it's somebody in some carbon fibre,
yeah,
you wouldn't dare to ask because
they don't need
your help.
Okay, that's what. Okay, yeah, of course that makes sense. That was clever.
Huh? What?
I hadn't thought about it like that.
Because I've done that. I was at the supermarket watching this guy struggle round, and then I was then putting my stuff in the car, and I saw him struggling to put his stuff in the car, and I went, "Do you mind? Could I help you?" And he went, "No." And I was like, He says, "I've lived with this all my life."
Oh my God, that's it precisely why I would never help.
So, I learned from that. So I think it's a judgment thing, isn't it? If somebody is clearly not able-bodied, something that they live with all their life, and if they're on their own, they're on their own because that's how they've chosen. But if it's some dude or some woman that's coming out of the hospital in a clunky old NHS wheelchair with their legs sticking in the air, they probably are going to want your help.
Yeah. Okay, makes good sense.
We brought Ing in. He gave himself up, acknowledged the syndicate. He won't be a problem anymore. How come? Alex said. We massaged his tax returns in China. Hands in his trouser pockets, his physique athletic. The Supreme People's Court of China might seem to allow paedophilia, murder and other nasty crimes, but evade tax, now that's a different matter. He won't see the light of day, he said, looking at the floor. That doesn't shut the organisation down, though. Indeed, but for now, it will. We have taps on this triad branch. If they start again, we'll know. Alex was nodding. I've spoken with the board. They have the organs that Lucy can have. Ask me no questions, and I will tell you no lies. I'll speak with Dr. Cranshaw in a moment. She will be having surgery tomorrow morning, I hope. Alex turned. You're kidding, she said. We applied some pressure to Ing. He might need walking aids and soft food for a few weeks, but nonetheless, he gave us what we wanted. I'm impressed, Alex said. Also, we took from his possession. Alex took the clear bag. In the bag was a sealed jar with a viscous, milky substance in it. What's this? Alex asked, holding it up to the light. Orlov's ejaculate. I'm sure you can connect the DNA material in the jar to a few unsolved sex crimes.
Oh.
Simon said, grinning. Now we've solved pretty much everything for you. I'm going to give you a second strike at the ball, Alex. Will you join my organisation? Alex looked out the window. The guy was still struggling up the ramp in the wheelchair. Why can't anyone help that guy? Simon turned to look down. We live in a different world, Alex, and it's changing immeasurably, something that we are struggling to keep under control. Healthcare-related crimes are a new face of evil, from pharmaceutical to fat cat CEOs trying to inflate the bottom line. Care for cash, as we like to call it. I'll let you run an investigation to bring Brock to justice, too. I'm sure he will be up to his old tricks as soon as he's able. Give me some more time, Simon. She paused, thought about the Mile-End Nick, Frank, Simon, the children. Kind of comfortable, I get it, Alex, but if you're comfortable, you're stagnating. You're not moving forward. Things happen for a reason. That's why our paths have met. I'm sure of it. Alex slowly nodded. Give me a day or so. Like I said, it's your second strike. I will only ask you one more time. She nodded again. Alex has been smashing to meet you. He stood erect and offered his hand. Alex took it. The tailored suit, expensive, cologne and sun-kissed skin were all betrayed by the rough, callous hands. This man was a worker and had a lifetime of getting them dirty. Alex felt it. She felt so safe by his touch. She liked it. He turned and left. Alex watched him walk through the doors, and Ricky, waiting in the wings on the other side. Her phone rang, withheld number, wanting to video call. Unusual, she hit the green button. Blood drained from her face as she had seen a ghost, staring at the image of Brock grinning at her.
Ugh.
Hello, Alex, he said. She couldn't find any words. Cat-what your tongue, Sergeant. She smiled again. You have royally fucked my life up, Sergeant. I must commend you. I didn't think you would. Fuck you, Brock, Alex said. Ricky stopped. He knew who it was. I'm amazed you're alive. Carmen really let me down by not shooting you, then disabling the charge in the barn. How is Lucy, by the way? That's none of your business, although she's still alive. Just. Good. The surgeons in Southampton, some of them have been my underlings, will no doubt do their best for her. I suspect that the ravages of infection will take her first, though.
Oh.
You're a bag of chuckles, Brock, Alex said. You nearly got me too. Ing managed to tip me off after they tortured him. Managed to get away to another hideaway before your friend found me. Alex nodded. I love the fact that you call your next house a hideaway. For someone so astute, you need to hole up in a hideaway. I'm surprised you can fit into anything on this earth with an ego like yours. Brock laughed. No need to get personal, Sergeant. Jealousy is a sin, don't you know?
This dude is whacked.
Well, of course he is. Things become personal when you have a friend killed, not to mention the other people that have filled up the morgue. All in the name of money, Alex sneered. Not true, Brock said. I have done it all. I would have done it all for nothing. Ing gave me the means. I would have done it gratis. The killing was my thirst. Why did you not just kill and not be so weird with it? Alex said. People have to see what becomes of them. That in itself is a privilege for the dying, is it not? If you were to die today, you wouldn't know anything about it. For someone so educated, you really are stupid, Brock, Alex said as he cocked his head. You're no Bond villain, Brock. You never will be. You're a sexually inadequate moron that's probably still a bedwetter. If your dad was still alive, he'd probably put you over his knee and he might even give you an erection. You piece of shit, Alex said.
It's a bit personal.
Brock's face was red. How fucking dare you, he said through his teeth. How dare I? Your days on this earth are numbered, Brock. I'm coming for you. He laughed. The image went dark, then a video stream came up. Alex squinted, trying to dial into the picture. Then it dawned on her that she was looking at, suddenly feeling helplessly nauseous. Alex's daughter Devon was sat on a bus, the top deck. She always sat on the top deck. Alex's blood ran cold. Sat behind her was the nonchalant assassin Jae Yong, smiling at the cameras. With her thumb, she traced it across her throat, leaning forward and offered Devon a sweet. They sat for a few seconds laughing. Alex was clicking her fingers to Ricky and holding up her thumb and forefinger to her ear. Ricky pulled his phone out. He was already on it, scrolling for Devon's number and hitting call. The video feed was live. Devon answered the phone. Hey, Mum, what are you doing? I'm just on my way to a lecture. Alex was trying to be cool. Who are you sat with? Devon looked around. No one you know. Jae Yon had left. Who was the Chinese woman that gave you a sweet? Devon searched around looking for her mum. How the hell did you know that, Mum? Still looking, I don't know. She introduced herself on the bus. She was nice. Another student, I think. Listen to me, Devon, closely. Look up. She looked up. There was a camera there. Can you see it? Yeah. Are you looking at me through there? Whoa, that's a bit weird, Mum. Why are you doing that? She asked. Mum, I'm feeling a bit funny.
Oh, God.
She slumped into her seat and her hand let go of the phone, trying to hold her head up. Fear in her eyes. Alex could see that she was trying to talk. Alex was powerless to do anything. Devon finally succumbed to whatever she was ingesting, fell against the window, legs jerking. The Korean came into view, smiled and spray painted the camera lens black. Devon! Alex shouted as she disappeared from view. The video feed went blank, and then Brock came back into view. You motherfucker, Brock! I couldn't make that sound more dramatic, could I? He laughed.
I'm all a bit anxious.
He laughed. Lucy was number 27. Devon Brown will be number 28. I'm going to take my time with Devon. What is she? 18? 19? Doesn't matter. The skin is perfectly pliable. Cuts beautifully, like a spring lamb. I shall send you a video when I'm done. The feed went blank. The call ended. Alex sank to her knees. My God, what have I done? Alex said. Ricky stood with one hand
Actually,
on
I
his
feel
forehead.
sick.
He had known Devon for most of her life. This had hit him just as hard. The doors opened. Broadstone walked out and stopped, sensing a moment. What happened? Alex looked up, face stony ashen. I have 2 conditions. Name them, Simon said. First, Ricky comes with. He looked at Ricky, looked back at Alex. Okay, agreed. And the second? Brock is my number 1 target, my first job. Simon squinted. What happened? Alex held up her phone. Shit just got personal.
I don't like that.
The end.
I don't like it. And I think, I don't know if I don't like it because she used our daughter's name.
I don't know why I did, actually. I remember I was writing this and Devon was sat here. And I was sat there.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. Devon's not bothered by it.
I know. And I know when you said it to me, that, you know, I knew that was coming because obviously I remember you writing this book, but I don't like it. You know, it's funny, isn't it? And do you like it? Like, well, obviously you don't like it, but you know, what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I should have used a different name, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
You'll have to change 3 fucking books.
She doesn't survive, does she?
Who?
Does she survive? I mean.
Yeah.
Devon survives.
She survives.
That's okay then.
She survives. She's reunited with her mum.
That's okay then.
You know, it takes a while though.
Oh, poor Devon.
I know.
That sucks. That's a sucky ending.
Why? But you can purchase Hypnos straight away and you can get straight into the next one.
Does it start from the same place?
Literally.
Does it?
Literally.
That's actually quite good. I'm reading a book at the moment that does the same thing.
Well, it's
literally, it's the moment she's looking at a sign. Then the next book is as she looks away from the sign.
Well, she's no, it's not that close. I think it's a 6-month gap, but there's a bit of sort of, you know, history sort of thing, and how she gets to that point. And but yeah, it literally follows straight on the story. Yeah. But you made it, babes. You got there. Nearly a year. 39 weeks.
Well, it's pretty much a year. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Gosh.
I know.
Oh.
How many months is 39?
Well, 4 months, 4 weeks to a month. So 39 divided by 4. 10. Thereabouts.
Yeah. 9.5 weeks.
What are you reckoning? Oh, it's the cable of the printer. Your tail.
Anyway, so that's the end of that.
That's the end of Harvester. Whoa.
So if you want to buy it, click the link in the show notes.
Yeah.
You can either buy it directly from my website, which is cheaper than Amazon.
And you get a sexy little email with it as well.
Or you can, if you want to give Jeff Bezos some money and keep me on the poverty line, you can pay 99p to Amazon and I get 30p of that for this masterpiece.
And we'll start Hypnos next week.
We'll start Hypnos next week. But also subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube.
You'll be able to watch this in multicolour Technicolor. No, Technicolor, multicolour.
You're thinking of Joseph in his Technicolor jacket. Multicolour jacket.
Yeah.
Is that what that's called? Joseph in his multicolored jacket.
Technicolor. Oh, I don't know. In multicolour. You'll be able to watch this.
In multicolour.
In multicolour.
What does that mean exactly?
I don't know. Lots of colours.
Multicolour, so not black and white.
Yeah.
Is that where that's from?
That must be.
That's how old we are.
Is to watch black. Although actually, technically, I'm black and white with the red. So, yeah, you can watch this video, this episode on YouTube if you so wish.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. People do like to watch things like this. Or you can listen to it through the podcast. But what you can do, if you fancy a little bit extra crime, true crime,
join the Criminal Club, which is a subscription-based service which costs £2 a month or £20 for the year.
Yeah.
And it's true crime, serial killer meets fiction, exciting.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of true crime, really thriller, suspense, you've got the best of both worlds. So we look at serial killers, we discuss them and why they do the things they do, which is the kind of normal thing, and everyone seems to be doing that. But what's different with me is that I write a fictional story about these motherfuckers.
I think we also go a lot more into the psychology of things rather than, obviously there's the history there and the research, but we go into the why.
Why?
What did his dad do?
Well, yeah, often it's the dad.
Mainly it's the dad.
If your dad's a knob, you're probably going to become a serial killer. I'm in therapy, so I don't get that.
So you won't be a serial killer. Oh, that's okay then.
I'm too lazy to be a serial killer. It's a lot of
It's
nights.
too stressful.
It's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of digging holes.
I mean, Ted Bundy, he was good looking. Like, he was a good looking serial killer, but that's a lot. It's a lot of stress.
It's not worth it.
No, definitely not worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
So join the Criminal Club.
Yes.
Click the link. It's
Yes.
in the show notes. And then, we'll see you there. And next week, Hypnos. Got to work on my South African accent.
Yeah. Do it. I look forward to that. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we're I can't believe we're at the end.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember the first episode. We had Devon and Beth there.
And it was raging hot, wasn't it?
Raging hot. It was so hot. So now look at us.
Yeah.
We're just going into spring. Have fun, guys, and don't forget, don't judge a book by its cover.
And stay frosty.
Bye.
Bye.